Hi everyone, and today in this video I want to talk to you about shortages, wait lists, and why if you're looking at buying something new for yourself, astronomy, cameras, or camping, or outdoors, or wilderness stuff, you're going to want to buy that today, or at the very least put an order in today. And the reason for this is because I've been looking at doing some purchases to upgrade my channel. I've been looking at getting some purchases so I can go camping this summer, and I'm finding that a lot of stuff is starting to become out of stock, back ordered, or has actually been back ordered for quite some time. And now I'm walking in saying, I'd like to purchase this, and being told it's not available. We don't have an update when we're going to get stock. So I've been looking at some new camera gear, a new telephoto lens. I'm also looking at a new little contraption that's going to help me do photography better. In theory, I did want to test that for the channel. So I won't tell you what it is just yet because it might actually not be as great as I hope it's going to be. But it's coming eventually, but I've just been told it's going to be delayed 2 months. So instead of getting it late May, June, I might get it in August or September, which is kind of a shock to me. I think a lot of people are used to walking into stores and being able to just buy stuff, unless it's like brand new released, in which case you're like, okay, I gotta wait, or I have to put my name on the first day it comes out and it's available pre-order, and eventually they'll sort that stock out in like 1, 2, or 3 months. Right now, things that you wouldn't think of are being delayed. Number one is astronomy gear. It's been just basically decimated in terms of stock. There's supply issues, but also just simply everybody's gone out and purchased gear this year because they've been stuck at home. And astronomy is one of those things where you can get out, point the telescope up in the sky, and enjoy the night sky, which is absolutely great. And I'm very happy that happened. But for somebody who's like, okay, I have gear that I want to replace or improve, basically a lot of stuff that's, I would say, under $5,000 has been pretty much bought up. Between $5,000 and $10,000, you get a little bit more stock selection, but there's still a lot of like stuff simply not available. And then some of the higher end stuff simply that tends to be pretty low volume already, and therefore companies didn't necessarily ramp up production or do the regular production because they were worried about a general slowdown. The second thing, and this was a surprise to me, was actually just general camera technology. Camera and lenses have been sort of delayed. Again, some people have gone out and bought it during the last year and a half, but also apparently there is a giant supply problem with microchips. And this supply problem has hit a lot of places like automotive. It's definitely hit graphics cards, and it hasn't been made any better with all that Bitcoin mining that they can't produce enough graphics cards for people to actually get graphics cards. And some other computer components are also being affected. And the reason this is because all this technology requires like a microchip. There's only a few big manufacturers of these microchips, and they had supply issues and slowdowns, and therefore now that everyone's ramping up and everyone wants to put in these big buys for all these chips, they're having to say, whoa, 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 we only have like this much capacity, but you want this. And it's not going to go away quickly. There's talk of it being around for probably the next year, year and a half until it's completely solid, which means that if you are trying to buy something like a camera lens, or anything that like requires a microchip, you may actually find that they're going to have stock issues because they can't get the parts to make the devices. Like even I went and purchased something or put a pre-order in or whatever you want to call it, and I just got an email telling me, hey, thanks for making this order, but we're delaying the launch by 2 months. Now, 2 months isn't the end of the world, and I'm hoping to get it in August, but it's one of those things where I look and say, totally shocked me. I didn't realize this chip thing was a problem. Like, I had heard about it as they're having some trouble with chips. I'm like, okay, the graphic card guys are going to be a little bit upset. But I wasn't expecting that when I was looking at getting a new camera, a new telephoto lens. I was just like, I'm assuming I can just go to the store and like, boop, 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 boop on the computer and get it. And now I'm being told no. So I have my name down for some stuff. I'm hoping to get it soon, but when that will be could be interesting. And finally, the last thing that I'm finding out is not quite out of stock yet. And I say this yet. And I'm like going to lean forward when I say this yet. Is anything to do with camping gear. Okay? camping, hiking, outdoors, all this stuff like this. Apparently, there's a lot of people now the weather is getting better are now looking at going camping. They're not necessarily going to travel internationally, but they're going to, grab their backpack, head out to their local national parks, provincial parks, state parks, depending on where you are, parks, and go camping. And there's going to be a big run on that camp gear. And again, the last year or so, it's been a bit of a buffer because people haven't really left the house. But again, most companies have pulled back on how much they're producing because they obviously don't want to fill a store with product that isn't moving. So when it does move, you might find that certain popular things are going to be harder to get. For me personally, I'm looking at getting a new camera backpack. The one I have right now is an excellent hiking backpack, but it isn't really designed to carry a lot of lenses. And what I've been doing before is just, stuffing some clothes at the bottom, sticking the lenses, in the backpack, and then stuffing some more clothes in the top. And that's absolutely great if you're going to go hiking and you're going to, when you get to a destination or something, you're going to pull the lens, take a picture, yay. But if you're like vlogging and you're going to turn it into an adventure vlog, you need those lenses to be a little bit more accessible. So I've been looking at different options. If you do have an idea of what I should be purchasing, give me a link below what works for you, because I'm kind of new at this. I haven't looked at backpacks for 3 or 4 years now, and there's definitely some new and intriguing designs out there. It does need to be for backpack, not like a satchel or some other stuff. I've looked at a couple other carry systems. I might get something like that as well, but I'm basically looking for a backpack that's designed for cameras and hiking. So any ideas there, that would be great. But I'm hoping to make that purchase in the next week or two, because I've been basically told that stock levels are good, but they're getting lower, and they're not sure if and when they're going to get some restock on that, because they're starting to notice on some items that people are showing up and buying it out. So you'll see some nice reviews coming up about camping gear that I found has worked, and I think you should get it. But in terms of what specific product you should get, this is probably going to be this summer. Get what you can, because the options may not be there. And while I don't want to push anyone to spend money they are planning to buy, if you have a plan to buy something in the next couple months, as I said at the start of the video, you might want to consider buying it now and simply just buffering that if you have the cash flow, because you may find that in 2 months things might not be as available as they are right now. So while I'm not going to say I hope you enjoyed this video, because it's a bit of a downer today, if you did find this video useful, please give me a like. If you do want to hear more about outdoors, night photography, astrophotography, and all these other great stuff that I'm going to be running around and doing, please consider subscribing to the channel, and have a pleasant evening.